Now then, it's all down to vitamin supplements, lots of water and good clean corn. Well, so say pigeon fanciers, who are winging their way to the London Racing Pigeon Show today in search of the perfect bird. Some of those on offer are expected to fetch up to £1,000. The best, which achieve flying speeds of around 90 miles an hour, demand as much as £100,000. But as long as your purchase is muscular and ambitious, you're apparently in with a chance, though fanciers do admit the birds are bred more for intelligence than for their looks. Well, joining us right now is Keith Mott, pigeon fancier and writer for the Racing Pigeon magazine, together with Apollo and Rocky. Rocky's in a little box beside me here for a moment. Two racing pigeons. Good morning to you all. Good
morning.
Thanks very much indeed for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Tell us then, Keith, what's the secret of a good prize bird then?
Well, basically, the pigeon's got to have a good physique, muscular, but mostly, I mean, looks doesn't really matter with a pigeon, only as far as showing are concerned. Really, it's just a good brain and a good physique.
How can you spot a good brain, though?
There's only one way of trying it, and that's send them to the races.
Let's have a look at this good physique you're talking about. What are we looking at?
Well, it's the breast muscles, really, because that powers the wings. But,
are they born like that? I mean, they're either a good flyer or not.
Yeah, they're like human athletes, really. I mean, there's not many Sebastian Coes about.
Very true.
It's like champion pigeons, really. You know, it's just a matter of...
But humans can train a bit. Can you train birds?
Yeah, you have to train them. You take them down to the coast, train them, get them ready for races and get them fit. And then off they go to the races. And really, that's the only proof, really, is in the pudding is eating.
Is that Apollo?
This is Apollo, yeah.
So he's a prize winner, is he?
Yeah, he's 2 years ago, he was a Pigeon of the Year in my club, the East Surrey District Flying Club. Oh. Pigeon of the Year, top Pigeon of the Year. And the good thing about this pigeon is he's a good all-round pigeon. He wins shows, and he breeds me winners abundantly for racing and for showing. So he's a plus, really. He's a perfect pigeon. He's the ideal pigeon because he does everything. He breeds well, and he races well, and shows well.
It's extraordinary the way you're handling the bird. They're quite familiar with this idea. You're tucking the sort of feet underneath, is that
yeah,
the way that you handle
well, it's just the way you hold them. That's the proper way of holding a pigeon.
Right.
Is he worth a bit? Must be.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't like to put a price on him, really.
Or you wouldn't like to say?
No, it's, as I say, I'm not really into buying and selling pigeons. It's my hobby, you know.
OK, well, tell us about the racing then. I mean, I'm intrigued. How can you time a race?
Well, you take them down a club and they're marked. I'll just put him back and show you how we mark them.
OK.
The pigeons go down and they're tagged. They're tagged with a race rubber, and on that race rubber there's a number. That number is the counterfoil number is put on their entry sheet next to the ring number. Mm-hmm. Then they go into sealed crates. Then they go on a transport and they're liberated at the race point. Every loft is pricked on a map and got a longitude and latitude, so you've got distances. So
you've got a long wait then, haven't you?
Yeah, so
you just hope that
so probably the first person that clocks in isn't particularly the winner, because the next loft might be further on. And then the time is worked out, and then the pigeons come home. Yeah. And that race rubber is put into a thimble, like so. You can do it a bit quicker than this on race days.
What's the top speed for a good pigeon?
They can do 90 miles an hour in a tailwind. Yeah. And then, that thimble, is placed into the clock like that. And then the clock is struck like that. The next drums come up for your next arrival, and the time is clocked on there. And the clock's sealed, so you can't get into the clock. There's no way you can cheat. You go down the club at night, and that's struck with a master timer, and everybody's clocks are read out. And as I say, it's time against distance, and they work out a velocity.
And the pigeon knows all this, does it?
No, I don't say. No. There's two methods of racing pigeons, old birds. That's the natural system and the widowhood system. Natural is when they're flying cocks and hens together paired up. And the widowhood system is where you only race the cocks, but they don't see the hen a week. They just see the hen before they go to the race, and they race into that hen, and they get the hen when they get home from a race.
These are some of your prize birds, are they? The ones
there's some of my older pigeons. Kenny, my grizzled cock, he won 13 firsts 36 times in the first 6, which is very exceptional. Right. And the other cock, Warrior, is his brother, his full brother. Okay. But, yeah, good pigeons, but they're very old now. I haven't brought them today because they're very, very old. But,
they're old, but you must be very proud.
Yes, yeah, wonderful pigeon. That Kenny's famous all over the world. He's been in pigeon journals many, many times.
Well, we wish you well for your event in London today.
Yeah, we're at the Horticultural Hall today, the Racing Pigeon Weekly and Racing Pigeon Pictorial Show. We've got an auction for Help the London Child. And Jerry Francis and the Tottenham team have signed a football for us, and we're going to auction that as well. So,
well, you have a good time.
Yeah, well,
and,
thanks, yeah.
Keith, thanks very much indeed for coming in.
My
With Apollo
pleasure.
and Rocky.
Yeah.
Well, to other animals.
To the business of sport now, and it may not be the world's best known or most glamorous pastime, but in the pigeon racing business, enthusiasts can pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for top birds. The number of people taking part may be in decline, but those that do take their sport very seriously indeed. And their passion is even starting to cause conflict with conservationists.
Friday night in Whiteleaf, and as they do throughout the summer months, a group of men gather round the back of the football club and make preparations for another round of pigeon racing.
67199.
Safely tagged for identification, the birds begin a trip that can, on occasions, take them up to 600 miles away. Tomorrow, weather permitting, scenes like these will be replayed across the land, and the birds will race back to their owners' lofts. It's a fairly arcane pastime, but for pigeon fanciers like Keith Mott, one that's proved a lifetime passion.
They're just working men's racehorses, really, aren't they? I think the buzz really is that you can let them out and they come back and you can race them to long distances.
Yet these are difficult times for the sport. Firstly, it's struggling to attract young blood, and the Royal Pigeon Racing Society is losing around 2,000 members each year.
It seems it's a computer age, and young people are more interested in computers these days and what they are with fishing or pigeons, ain't they?
I'm afraid it is a down sport, and we are losing more than we're gaining.
But what are those kids missing out on? On race day, I headed to a loft to find out. It's a waiting game, really, isn't it?
This is the problem. This part of it is a wait. It could be a long wait, especially if we're on longer races. But as I say, normally you can predict them within minutes.
So even though birds can fly at around 60 miles an hour, you do need a bit of patience in this game. Of course, you also need some decent birds if you're going to win anything. And that's why you might end up here. Not a glamorous part of Wolverhampton, but apparently a good spot for a pigeon stud. And even though the sport is struggling, business here is very good.
This year we completely sold out of young birds for the 06. It's been a really good year for us.
Now, birds kept here range in price from $140 to $650, but people have paid over $200,000 for a top flyer. Due to concerns about theft and vandalism, Mark keeps his most expensive stock off-site. Just don't bother asking where.
It don't matter who it is, who asks me, I will not take them there.
You don't think you're being just a little paranoid, or is it justified?
No, to me it's justified, because it's my livelihood.
Meanwhile, back at Peter's place...
Two on prompt.
Hey, what are they?
No, they're just straight pigeons, they are.
Frankly, my concentration was wandering a little, and not only that, I was thinking that maybe Peter's birds had fallen victim to what has become the great scourge of pigeon racing, birds of prey.
Of course, we've got the hawk problem. You know, you've got peregrine falcons and sparrowhawks, which are absolutely slaughtering our sport.
This country's gone to pot. The hawks and ruining pigeon flying, really ruining it.
Yes, chaps like these, whose numbers have grown significantly over the last 30 years, thanks to government protection.
We have to remember that all birds of prey suffered a catastrophic decline in the 60s when organopesticides decimated these particularly beautiful birds.
Today, around 35,000 pairs of breeding sparrowhawks and 1,200 pairs of peregrine falcons are pigeons' greatest predators in the UK. But pigeon fanciers think they're now overprotected.
It's just wrong where they're protected and nothing else is. What they should start doing is limiting their numbers per area.
That's just not going to happen, and neither would public opinion support it.
Hawks, hawks, hawks. And it's all down to Goody Two-Shoes saying, no, you can't kill all the hawks.
In fact, hawk advocates believe pigeon racers could well be the architects of their own misfortune.
Pigeons at the end of a race, or even 200, 300 miles into a race, encounter a wild peregrine. They don't have the same sort of reserves left that a wild pigeon would have, and consequently they are much easier meat for a peregrine.
And back at Peter's, I was starting to think his pigeons had become easy meat, but finally,
Over there.
Yeah, that's one for us.
Come on. Here you go.
victory, maybe. Peter ducked inside to grab the pigeon's tag, which is then popped into a sealed clock to record the bird's time.
All right, that's a bit not a bad time.
Very good. Good time?
Good time today, yeah.
Yep. What are...
There we go.
Good fun. Good fun?
Good fun, yeah, exciting. 5 minutes. A lot of waiting, exciting for 5 minutes.
And there you had it. A slightly odd recreation, but one full of amiable chaps. And having seen it up close, I for one couldn't help but think that whether due to hawks or old age, the world will be a poorer place if time ultimately gets called on this particular sport of wings.
4, 3, 2, 1, go!
As for that pressing question of quite how pigeons find their way home from hundreds of miles away, till now the most popular theory was that they relied on subtle changes in the Earth's magnetic field. But new research from Italy suggests it may be down to their sense of smell. And that's it for this week's World Business. Thanks for watching. We, of course, will see you again.